Hello students, welcome back to JCE Connect series of lectures. So we'll continue some more numerical problems on a Pelton wheel, and this question I have taken from a university question paper. A Pelton wheel has a mean bucket speed of 35 meter per second with a jet of water flowing at the rate of 1 meter cube per second under a head of 270 meter. The bucket deflects the jet through an angle of 170 degree. Calculate the power delivered to the runner and the hydraulic efficiency of the runner. Assume the coefficient of velocity as 0.98. So in this particular problem, the turbine is a Pelton wheel. So this is the turbine runner, or you can call it as a rotor or a disc. It has a curved blade on it. These are called as a buckets, like this. Okay, it is coupled with shaft. This is the jet striking the bucket. Then the bucket will take the motion, that is velocity u. Then it starts rotating. This runner starts rotating. This bucket receives the jet force. Then it moves forward. Again the next blade will come and stand before the jet. Again it takes the force, and again it moves forward. Then it will be continuing, and hence the rotation of impeller. And this is coupled with the shaft, and shaft in turn coupled with the generator, hence the production of electricity. And as you know, the water is been feeding from the reservoir, and let us assume here is a dam. From here the water is been feeding to the turbine station, like this. So the head available at this particular here, after that is a net head available h. This is the h. So in this problem the head available is been given, that is 270 meter is head available, and the bucket speed, that is this bucket is moving at a speed of 35 meter per second, and also the discharge, that the rate of flow through this nozzle is 1 meter cube per second. That is also given, 1 meter cube per second. Then after striking the jet to the blade, the water is deflecting at an angle of 170 degree. Calculate the power delivered to the runner. Okay, so here first write the given that the speed of the bucket is given, that is u equal to u1 equal to u2, that is 35 meter per second. Then the head of water available is 270 meter, that is the net head. Then angle of vein at exit, that is 180 minus 170, means this is the bucket. So the jet is striking at the center of the bucket, that is at a splitter. Then this straight line represents the inlet velocity triangle, then that is u1. This you know how to mark. This is u1 and this is vr1. Then the absolute velocity will be v1 equal to vw1, that is velocity of the jet. Then after striking, it will deflects by an angle of 170 degree. Then total angle is 180. 180 minus 170 gives you the pi, that is the value of pi. That is the vane angle at the exit, that is 10 degree. Then the coefficient of velocity is given, that is 0.98. Then the velocity of the jet, as you know, that is the actual velocity of the jet will be coefficient of velocity multiplied by root of 2gh. Here h is given, cv is given. Substitute all the values here, we get the velocity as 71.32 meter per second. Here the drawing of velocity triangle is very important. So as I said, the inlet velocity triangle, unless it is mentioned the angle of striking by the jet, the inlet velocity triangle will be straight line, and on that straight line you have to mark all the components of the fluid velocity, that is the velocity of the vane and the velocity of the jet with respect to the bucket, then the velocity of the jet which is equal to the whirl velocities. Since the alpha and theta is 0 here, then the velocity of flow will be 0 here. So after drawing the inlet velocity triangle, you have to draw the outlet velocity triangle and mark all the components of fluid, then the relative velocity Vr2, then the jet velocity V2, then the flow velocity, then the whirl velocity and the vane velocity, all you have to mark. And you remember, based on the value of beta, this inlet, this outlet velocity triangle will be depends. Okay, so since in this case the beta is assumed to be less than 90 degree, they are acute, this is the outlet velocity triangle. And also one more component, that is a component of Vr2 in horizontal direction, that is a Vr2. So this will be the component of Vr2, this one. To take this will be Vr2 cos pi. Then based on this also you can draw the outlet velocity triangle. If this Vr2 cos pi, if suppose if you calculate Vr2 cos pi is greater than u2, then this is the velocity triangle. Suppose if Vr2 cos pi is less than u2, then the beta will become more than 90 degree. Here the beta will be less than 90 degree. So based on this quantity also you can decide the outlet velocity triangle. Okay, so that kind of problem will take next. Okay, so first you write all the given data, calculate the velocities here, then from the figure, that is from inlet velocity triangle, calculate Vr1, that is V1 minus U1. V1 will be, sorry, Vr1 will be V1 minus U1 because this V1 and U1 we know. Then calculate Vr1, this is Vr1. Then also Vw1, that is velocity of whirl at inlet, will be equal to V1, that is velocity of the jet. This also you calculate. Then after this, from the outlet velocity triangle, since there is no friction loss, we are assuming the passage of the blade is very smooth, there is no loss at all, hence Vr2 equal to Vr1, that is 36.32. Then Vw2 will be what? Vr2 cos pi minus u2. So this one, Vw2 will be Vr2 cos pi minus u2. Vr2 cos, this is Vr2 cos pi is a component of Vr2 in horizontal direction. Okay, then calculate that also, because this we required for calculation of work done by the jet. Then we get 0.77 meter per second. Then work done by the jet per second can be given as force, that is Fx into u. The Fx will be what? Rho a v1 into bracket Vw1 plus Vw2. Why plus? Because beta is acute angle here. Vw1 plus Vw2 into u. Then here area, that is the area of the jet, is not given, but A into V, as we know, A into V will be what? Discharge. Then just to write rho into Q into bracket Vw1 plus Vw2 into U. Substitute all the values here, we get this much value, that is work done per second. Then the power given to the turbine, that is the runner power, that is power given to the turbine giving the power to the runner. So this is the power, that is a water power you are giving to the runner through the blades, and how much power the runner is generating, we are calculating that power given to the runner by using this formula we are calculating. Then the power, that is runner power, will be 2523.348 kilowatt. This is the power given to turbine, that is runner power. Okay, so as you know, we have discussed in hydraulic, then the efficiencies of the turbine, different efficiency of turbine, the water, from the water power to the runner power, from the runner power to the shaft to the generator. So this is the various steps how the power is being transferring, the water to the blade to the runner to the shaft to the generator. While transferring these powers, some of the losses will take place. Okay, that we have discussed while discussing efficiencies of the turbine. So since this power what we call as a runner power, then you have to calculate the hydraulic efficiency. So as we know, the formula for efficiency, output by input. Output is nothing but work done per second, and input what we are giving is kinetic energy per second, that is kinetic energy of jet per second. As we know, the work done per second formula is Fx into U. Then Fx will be rho A V1, Vw1 plus Vw2 into U. Then inlet power, that is kinetic energy of the jet per second. This formula also we know, half rho A V1 Q. Then when you cancel the terms, then finally you will get this term 2 into U into bracket Vw1 plus Vw2 divided by V1 square into 100. So you can use this formula to calculate the hydraulic efficiency. So here substitute the value of bucket velocity, then the whir velocity at inlet and outlet. Then after simplification you will be getting this final formula, and through if you can remember this one, and when you remember this one you should remember work done per second, that the formula is this one, work done per second. Then also you have to remember the kinetic energy per second, and when substitute and simplify you will get this equation finally. Then you will get the hydraulic efficiency this much through this formula. And one more way of calculating the hydraulic efficiency is, we have discussed while calculating various efficiencies of the turbine. The hydraulic efficiency can be defined as it is the ratio of runner power to the water power. The ratio between the runner power to the water power, that is the first comes the water power. Through the water power the runner power generates, because the power is being transferring, that is the force is being transferring from the blade to the runner. So hence it is called as a runner power. So runner power by water power, as already we have calculated the runner power, this is the runner power, then divided by water power. So water power can be given from the available head of the water, that is rho into G into Q into H. Substitute all the values here, we get the water power. So this much is the water power available. Then substitute directly the runner power by water power, we get this much of efficiency. So since here some of the losses are been considered, so here hence this much is the efficiency we get. Both answers are correct. This is from this formula and this is from this formula, and both are correct. You can use any formula to calculate the hydraulic efficiency here. Okay, that is runner power by water power. Okay, I hope you understood this one. Okay, we'll take one more problem of different type. So next problem will be, so let us take this problem. A single jet of a Pelton wheel, the single jet of a Pelton wheel runs at 300 rpm, under a head of 510 meter. The jet diameter is 200 millimeter. Its deflection inside the bucket is 165 degree, and its relative velocity is reduced by 15% due to friction. Determine water power, resultant force on the bucket, and overall efficiency, and take mechanical losses 3%, coefficient of velocity as 0.98, and the speed ratio as 0.46. So these are the data given here. So we need to calculate what is the water power and the resultant force on the bucket, and also overall efficiency of the Pelton wheel. So let us write the given data first. The speed of the wheel, that is N, is given 300 rpm. Diameter of the jet D is 200 millimeter given. Angle of deflection of jet 165 degree, and the net head available at the inlet of the turbine is 510 meters. So this is the dam. From the dam the water is been feeding through the penstock to the turbine station, and this is the net head available at the inlet of the turbine. And also the speed of this impeller is given N, the speed of the wheel. Then the angle of deflection is also given. Then also the mechanical losses. Mechanical losses means, so while transferring the power, the water to the blade, blade to the runner, runner to the shaft. So while transferring the energy, some of the losses takes place because of the bearing friction of the shaft or wear and tear. Some losses will take place. That losses is how much given? 3%. 3% of the mechanical losses, and the coefficient of velocity at the nozzle will be 0.98. Speed ratio is 0.46 KU. Okay. Then you have to calculate what is the water power. So to first you have to calculate the water power. To calculate water power, first we need to calculate what is the velocity of the jet, actual velocity. V1 is VCV into root of 2GH. Then we get as a 98 meter per second. Then discharge through the Pelton wheel can be easily calculated, that is Q equal to A into V, that is area of jet into velocity, actual area into velocity of jet. Then we get the discharge passing is 3.078 meter cube per second. Then the water power WP, that is gamma W Q into H. Okay, Q we have calculated, H also we know, then gamma W is the specific weight of the water, 9.81 into 3.078 into 510 divided into 510, so we get as 15399.5 kilowatt. Then next you have to calculate the resultant force on the bucket. You have to calculate the peripheral speed of the wheel. The peripheral speed of the wheel can be calculated as U, that is the velocity of the bucket, KU times of root of 2GH. So where KU is the speed ratio which has been given in a problem, 0.46 to be taken for maximum efficiency. It has been given in a problem, and calculate the bucket's velocity, that is U as 46 meter per second. And also from the inlet velocity triangle, so you have to draw the velocity triangle for the bucket. This is the cross section of the bucket. Draw the bucket and also draw the inlet velocity triangle. As you know how to draw the inlet velocity triangle, this is the splitter, and the at inlet velocity triangle will be straight line. And from the inlet velocity triangle you can easily mark the velocity of the bucket and the the relative velocity of the jet with respect to the bucket, as well as the velocity of the jet, all you mark here. And from the inlet velocity triangle, just you note it down, the velocity of whirl, that is VW equal to V1 equal to 98 meter per second. And this outlet velocity triangle, the drawing of outlet velocity triangle is very, very important here. And as I said, it depends upon the value of beta. If you don't know the value of beta, again it depends upon the value of VR2 and U2. These two values to be calculated first, and based on these two values you can draw the velocity triangle. So this velocity triangle, it depends upon the quantities of VR2 cos phi and U2. First you calculate what is U2 and VR2 cos phi. So VR1 is V1 minus U1. From the inlet velocity triangle we get as a 52 meter per second. And also from the outlet velocity triangle, the blade angle at exit, that is pi. Since the deflection angle is given, as, in this case the deflection angle is given as 165 degree. So 180 minus 15, so 180 minus 165 we get as 15 degree, that is the vane angle at the outlet we get here, vane angle at the outlet. Okay, so we get the blade angle at exit as 15 degree and calculate VR2. And in this problem they are mentioned here, what they mentioned, the relative velocity is reduced by 15% at the outlet due to friction. Hence the VR2 will be 0.85, that is 85% of the VR1. So we get as 44.2 meter per second. As I said, the outlet velocity triangle depends upon the quantity VR2 cos phi. Already we know the value of U2. Calculate VR2 cos phi. VR2 cos phi will be 44.2 cos 15. We get as 42.69. Since VR2 cos phi is less than U2, because we have calculated U2 as, see the value of U2 will be 46, because U1 equal to U2 equal to U, that is 46 meter per second. And you compare that U2 value with VR2 cos phi, that is a blade speed, the velocity triangle at outlet will be as shown in the figure. So when you draw these by using these two quantities, VR2 cos phi and U2, so you will be getting the beta as more than 90 degree. So let us look at the velocity triangle here. So this is VR2 cos phi. In this case U2 is greater than VR2 cos phi. Hence the magnitude of U2 will be this much. Draw this U2, then VR2 cos phi is this much. So when we draw the U2, and automatically the beta will become more than 90 degree. So beta will become the obtuse angle. Okay, so this is U2. So when we calculate the resultant force, that time we to take the VW1 minus VW2. So this is the outlet velocity triangle. Okay, this is very important for drawing, and this triangle helps you calculate the resultant force. So in resultant force, that is when you take VW1 plus or minus VW2, whether to take a plus or minus, this triangle decides. Since in this case U2 is greater than VR2 cos pi, so beta will be more than 90 degree. If suppose VR2 cos pi is more than U2, then the beta will becomes acute angle. Okay, I hope you understood this one. Then calculate VW2. VW2 will be U2 minus VR2 cos pi. We get 3.306 meter per second. Once we get VW1 and VW2, then it is easy to calculate the resultant force on the bucket. Then the Fx will be rho q into bracket VW1 minus VW2. Then substitute all the values here, that is 1000 into 3.078 into 98 minus 3.31. So why minus I have taken? Beta will be 90 degree. So beta is more than 90 degree here. Then we get this much force. Then next calculate the brake power. The brake power, that is the brake power will be what? Work done per second, that is the power developed by the wheel. That is nothing but brake power or runner power. Power developed by the wheel, Fx into u. So already we have calculated Fx, multiply it by velocity of the bucket. This we get 13406.97 kilowatt. Okay, the work done per second unit is Newton meter per second. Newton meter will be joule per second. Then the joule per second will be what? Watt. So we get in terms of watt. Then next you have to calculate. Next you have to calculate the brake power. So how to calculate the brake power? Power produced at the shaft, that is the brake power. So this is the brake power, power produced at the shaft. So power produced at the shaft, that is we know the runner power, multiply by this is 1 minus 0.03. 1 is the means the efficiency 100 minus 0.03. If you do it, you will get 13004.76, means 3% losses, means this much is the actual runner power. See, this is the how the energy is being transferring from the water to the blade, blade to the runner to the shaft. So while transferring, some losses will take place, means this 100% of the power will not be transferring. This one, this is runner power, the same will not transfer to the shaft. So hence 1 minus 0.03 means 3% already given in the problem, 3% losses, hence we have to take only 97%, hence 1 minus 0.03. Okay, or 0.97 into this much, we get this much brake power or the shaft power. Then the overall efficiency, how much efficiency the Pelton wheel is developing. Okay, overall efficiency, as we know the formula, brake power by water power, means how much efficiency is available at the shaft, that is brake power by water power. So brake power by water power, we know the brake power and also was a water power. So overall efficiency will be what? 84.4% the Pelton wheel is developing. Okay, so these are the steps how to calculate the that is a force on a Pelton wheel, or the power that is brake power, the runner power, or overall efficiency. Okay, so try to understand these all steps and practice similar kind of problems. Okay, thank you.